On March 20, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order that sent shockwaves through the nation's education system. The order directs Education Secretary Linda McMahon to begin dismantling the Department of Education. This bold move ignited immediate controversy, drawing sharp criticism from Democrats and education advocates while garnering support from Republicans who have long sought to reduce federal involvement in education. This executive order marks a significant escalation in the ongoing debate over the role of the federal government in education. Proponents of the move argue that it will empower states to tailor education policies to their unique needs. They believe that reducing federal bureaucracy will lead to greater innovation and efficiency. Opponents, however, fear that dismantling the department will have dire consequences for students, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. The executive order has reignited the debate over the legacy of the Department of Education, which was established in 1979. Critics argue that the department has grown too large and intrusive, creating unnecessary burdens on states and schools. They point to the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 as an example of federal overreach that led to unintended negative consequences. Supporters of the department counter that it has played a vital role in expanding access to education and protecting the rights of all students. The dismantling of the Department of Education is a complex issue with far-reaching implications. It remains to be seen how this executive order will play out in the coming months and years. What is certain is that the debate over the future of education in America is far from over. While the executive order sets the wheels in motion, the complete dismantling of the Department of Education requires congressional approval. This is where the battle lines are clearly drawn. Republicans, largely united in their desire to shrink the federal government, have signaled their support for the move. Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana, has announced his intention to introduce legislation that would abolish the department. Democrats, however, are prepared to mount a fierce opposition. They argue that the department plays a crucial role in safeguarding civil rights, ensuring equitable funding, and protecting vulnerable students. With the Senate requiring 60 votes to overcome a filibuster, the Democrats' opposition poses a significant hurdle to the administration's plans. The political battle over the Department of Education reflects a broader ideological divide in American politics. Republicans generally favor a smaller federal government and greater state autonomy, particularly in matters of education. Democrats, on the other hand, believe in a more active role for the federal government in ensuring equity and opportunity for all citizens. The outcome of this legislative battle remains uncertain. It will depend on a number of factors, including the ability of both sides to rally public support for their positions, the willingness of Democrats to compromise, and the political skills of the Trump administration in navigating the legislative process. The dismantling of the Department of Education is far from a foregone conclusion. The fight has just begun. Despite the executive order's sweeping language, it does not eliminate the Department of Education entirely. Certain critical functions will continue to be performed, albeit with a significantly reduced workforce. These functions include enforcing civil rights laws in education, overseeing student loans, and managing the Pell Grant program, which provides financial aid to low-income college students. The decision to maintain these functions highlights the complexity of dismantling a large government agency. While the Trump administration seeks to reduce federal involvement in education, it also recognizes the need to ensure the continued operation of essential programs. This balancing act will require careful planning and execution. The downsizing of the department will likely have a significant impact on its ability to carry out its remaining functions effectively. Critics argue that a smaller department will lack the resources and personnel to adequately enforce civil rights laws, monitor student loan programs, and provide support to states. They fear that this could lead to a rollback of progress made in recent decades in areas such as desegregation and access to education for students with disabilities. The administration, however, maintains that a leaner department will be more efficient and responsive to the needs of states. They argue that technology and innovation can help to streamline operations and reduce the need for a large bureaucracy. The coming months will reveal whether the department can effectively carry out its essential functions with a significantly reduced workforce. The executive order to dismantle the Department of Education has been met with a wave of opposition from a broad coalition of stakeholders. Public opinion polls consistently show that a majority of Americans oppose the move. A recent Quinnipiac poll found that 60% of registered voters are against eliminating the department, while only 33% support it. Opposition is particularly strong among Democrats, with 98% of Democratic voters opposing the dismantling of the department. This suggests that the issue has the potential to further polarize an already divided nation. Education Secretary Linda McMahon has acknowledged the need for congressional coordination in the dismantling process. She has stated that the administration's goal is to provide states with best practices and tools as the department is wound down. McMahon argues that the department does not directly educate students but primarily provides funding to states, suggesting that states are fully capable of assuming these responsibilities. However, state officials and lawmakers have expressed concerns about being unprepared to assume full responsibility for education policy. They worry about the logistical challenges of absorbing the department's functions and the potential financial burden on states already grappling with budget constraints. Labor and civil rights groups have been particularly vocal in their criticism, warning of the potential negative impacts on students, including larger class sizes, reduced job training programs, increased higher education costs, and diminished civil rights protections. The NAACP has called the executive order unconstitutional, arguing that only Congress has the authority to abolish an executive agency. The future of education in America hangs in the balance as the nation grapples with this contentious issue.